established rich coming right back at you. It's crazy how fast respect can leave a room, especially when it's got wings. And what we watched play out between Tony Yayo, Uncle Murda, and Ja Rule didn't look like hip-hop. It looked like three men forgetting where they was and how old they are. Because this ain't no studio, this ain't no stage. This is a plane full of regular people trying to go where they going in peace.
Okay. Sucker. I ruined the plane. Sucker.
Federal regulations prohibit the use of cellular networks during flight. The use of Wi-Fi to make video or voice calls is not allowed. Show your face table and carry on items. Ensure all armrests are in the resting position.
This way he was sitting before we got him out of here.
Listen, what you just saw was not funny if you really process it. That's federal airspace. That's a place where your freedom to travel can disappear over your ego. And you can hear it in the exchange. Yelling, posturing, cussing, like the internet was watching live. Like this was a podcast set. But it wasn't. And the part that makes this sad is how unnecessary it was. Nobody was in danger. Nobody was threatened. But pride got in the way of peace, and nobody wanted to be an adult. From what we see and what they posted, it looks like Ja Rule stood up first. Words flew, temperatures rose, and next thing you know, a pillow is flying through the air like it's high school. Not Harlem, not Queens, on a plane. And while this is happening, flight attendants got to step in like referees. Passengers got to watch like this is a show, and then the cameras came out. Because in 2026, everything is content. Everything is a moment. But what don't go viral is the consequences. You can't act like this on a plane. This ain't the street. This ain't even the internet. This is federal jurisdiction. And the crazy part is, all three of these men are connected through one person, 50 Cent. One is right-hand man, one is longtime affiliate, and one his 20-year rival. And somehow, his shadow is still in the room. And that's where this gets uncomfortable. Because you start realizing this ain't just a random argument. This was history. This was pride. This was old B finding a new stage where it never should have been. And the real question ain't who started it. The real question is why nobody ended it. Why three grown men couldn't sit in their seats and let it go. Because at some point, you got to decide, is your ego worth your freedom? And from what we saw, nobody made that decision fast enough. What makes this whole shit crazy is not just the pillow. It's not the words, and it's not even who stood up first. It's the fact that nobody in that moment remembered where they were. Because when you on a plane, you ain't just a rapper. You are a passenger under federal rules, and that changes everything. And you can hear it in what was said after. One side saying he popped off, the other side saying they ain't do nothing. Everybody trying to sound right, but nobody sounding mature. Because mature looks like silence. Mature looks like eye contact and then looking away. Mature looks like understanding. This ain't the place. You got Ja Rule feeling like he can't be disrespected. You got Tony Yayo feeling like he can't be pressed. And you got Uncle Murda feeding the energy instead of calming it down. And none of that mixes well with a flight crew trying to do their job. Because now they got to play security. Now they got to step between the egos. Now they got to calm down grown men who old enough to know better. And while all of this is happening, it's passengers who just want to take off. They don't care about no GUnit history, no Murda Inc. history. They just want to get home. But hip-hop got brought into a place where hip-hop don't belong. And then it got worse. Because after it's over, everybody runs to the internet. Everybody got a caption. Everybody got a story. Everybody got a version where they look strong. Who look tough? Who looked unbothered? Who looked like they won in a situation that never should have even happened. And the crazy part, the person who wasn't even on the plane ends up with the loudest voice. 50. Posting, joking, turning it to content.
You know he's on the plane. And,
had an interesting week. Man, we had an interesting flight.
Motherfuckers are throwing pillows.
Oh, shit.
I don't even know why.
And that's called popping off nowadays.
Yo,
if you throw a pillow, that's called popping off.
Yo, but Murda, tell him how when Ja threw the pillow, I see your bitch ass nigga, your pillow back, right? Remember I asked him?
Yeah, you asked if he want the pillow. He said no.
I'm not going to sit.
Threw the pillow at him.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie and fabricate anything. You know, Murda started everything.
What?
You know, I try to de-escalate it. You know what I mean? Because I want to, like I said, I love overseas, man. I love going to Turkey, Istanbul.
Yeah.
I love going to India. I love going to Australia. You know, I love going to Australia, the Gold Coast.
Well, the guy kept saying what's up too much, like, hey, fellas. And he wasn't, like, aggressive. He was so calm, but like, hey, what's up, fellas? Like, hey, how you doing, fellas? And it was like,
man, yo, listen, for me.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Why you talking to me, bro? That's why I just like, nigga, what the fuck you talking to? Like,
for me, I knew it wasn't going to work out when we sat. You know, he sat right in front of us. I just knew it wasn't going to work out, man. Shout to Delta Airlines. for keeping the peace.
And you start seeing a pattern. Anytime old beef gets a new moment, the internet makes it bigger. Instead of somebody saying, we too old for this. Because the real L here ain't who got up, ain't who sat down. It's that hip-hop look childish in front of regular people. And that's the part that hurts. Men who done seen the highs and lows of the game, letting 20-year-old energy still run the room. Still letting history dictate the present. And the saddest part, this could have been a head nod in a quiet flight, but it turned into a scene. Now, let me talk about the part nobody wants to say. Not the videos, not the posts, but the image. What that look like to people who don't listen to rap. What that look like to flight attendants who don't know none of these names. What that look like to a plane full of strangers just trying to get home. Because to them, this wasn't legends. This wasn't history, and this wasn't culture. This was 3 grown men acting like kids in a place where you can't afford to act like a kid. And that's the part that stings. Because hip-hop been fighting for respect for 40 years. And in one moment, it can look small again. All because nobody wanted to be an adult first. And you start realizing this ain't really about them. This is about what happens when you don't let old beef die. When you don't let old energy stay in the old years. When you carry history into places history don't belong. And a plane is one of those places. It ain't no street code in the sky. It's only rules and consequences. And thank God this didn't turn into something worse. Thank God it stopped at words in a pillow, because it could have been different. And that's the part that should make everybody think. At what age do you stop proving something? At what age do you start protecting your peace more than your pride? Because from the outside looking in, this looks like men who forgot that part. And hip-hop deserves better than that. The culture deserves men who can walk away, who can sit still, who can say it ain't worth it. Because real power ain't always standing up. Sometimes real power is staying seated. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.